In the depths of an eerie Miami afternoon, the clock ticked ominously as the events of that day unfolded. Christian Omuseli, oblivious to the impending darkness that awaited him, ventured out of his apartment at 1:15 p.m. A sense of unease hung in the air, like a premonition dancing on the edge of reality. Hours crawled by, each passing minute carrying an unspoken tension. At 4:33, Omuseli returned, bearing sandwiches. Innocent enough, or so it seemed. At 4:43 p.m., Courtney Cline reached out to her mother. The conversation lasted a mere 6 minutes. What secrets were exchanged in this call? Only walls would know. At 4:49, Cline's fingers dialed her mother's number again, prolonging the dialogue for another 7 minutes. Then, in the darkness that veiled the hour of 4:57, chaos descended upon the apartment. A piercing scream shattered the silence of a quaint apartment complex, shattering the fragile illusion of safety. Cline's frantic voice pierced through the telephone of 911 as she pleaded for help, her words laced with desperation. Omuseli could also be heard portraying the situation that consumed him. "I'm going to die. I can't feel my arms." Amidst the despairing cries, Cline's voice resonated with the agonized words of "I'm sorry." It was a haunting revelation, leaving dispatchers wondering what had led them to this nightmarish moment. Courtney Cline was a proud Texan who worked as a full-time fitness model and foodie, most known for her appearance on the website OnlyFans as Courtney Taylor. It was in Austin, Texas that she would meet the man of her dreams, Christian Omuseli, a stock investor. As the love between the couple grew, they both desired for new adventures, moving to Miami, Florida together. Perched high on the 22nd floor of the illustrious One Paraíso residences in Miami, Courtney and Christian dwelled within the lavish embrace of opulence. Their abode offered them a breathtaking view of the shimmering waters that were Biscay Bay. This is where Courtney gained a significant amount of traction on OnlyFans, being invited to interview on podcasts and YouTube videos, where she is quoted with saying that she only dated rich black guys. But in the shadows of their blissful relationship and Courtney's online presence, a darker chapter would come to light. As Courtney and Christian became more comfortable, so did their arguments. Courtney specifically would scream at Christian relentlessly, calling him racial slurs, throwing his clothes outside, and kicking him to the curb. The next day, she would take it all back and shower him with gifts. But it didn't end there. A warrant affidavit would surface with the account of who Courtney really was behind closed doors. The affidavit spoke of Courtney's action against Christian born in anger, as she threw a glass at Christian's head. Courtney admitted to throwing objects at Christian in the past, showing her history of domestic violence with the supposed love of her life. As time went on, incidents of Courtney wielding weapons and physical force against Christian punctuated the course of their turbulent journey. From the privacy of their luxurious domain, to echoes of their clashes reverberated, leaving scars both seen and unseen. The walls of the One Paraíso residences became the reluctant witnesses to their tumultuous battles. Security personnel and fellow tenants residing even 2 floors above were forced to bear witness to the disturbing symphony of violence. The outbursts of arguing has become so frequent, so unbearable, that the management became burdened by the weight of their conflicts. They considered drastic measures, moving towards legal action to sever ties between the problematic tenants. By February 21st, the fights between the two would get caught on camera through a security camera in the elevator of their apartment complex. As the doors of the elevator slid open, Courtney stepped in and jabbed the buttons on the wall, an outward display of frustration that can be felt through the lens. With haunting silence, Christian stepped inside, his presence the catalyst for the storm that was about to unfold. And it would come to a climax any day. This brings us back to the night before the fateful day in their apartment, where the police were called again over Courtney and Christian fighting in the elevator. The front desk workers of the apartment complex had witnessed the fighting and asked Courtney if she would like Christian to leave for the night. She replied no, but when the police arrived, she quickly changed her story. She told the police that he wasn't supposed to be there and that they had broken up, and she wanted a restraining order taken out against him, saying, "How do I make sure I do it first?" Since it was obvious that Courtney was lying, the police neglected to do anything to Christian. April 3rd would be the day that the nightmare would reach its fateful climax. After Courtney's frantic phone call, police arrived at their apartment to investigate. Christian was bleeding profusely as he had been stabbed in the chest. Courtney was holding her fleeting partner in her arms, begging for help. Christian was rushed to the hospital with the top priority, as Courtney admitted that the knife wound that Christian suffered was from her own hand. Courtney Cline would be taken to the police station to be interviewed, where she relays the chilling events of what had occurred. She painted a picture of tumultuous escalation, a moment when the bounds of their relationship snapped and chaos took hold. In her version of the events, Obumseli's actions became the catalyst for an irreversible chain of events, leaving them both forever scarred. According to Cline's testimony, the tension reached its breaking point as Obumseli's hands closed around her neck, pressing her body against the unyielding wall, a suffocating embrace that bore the marks of his aggression. In a harrowing twist of fate, she found herself cast on the unforgiving ground, a violent impact that shook her to her core. In the depths of her desperation, Cline's survival instinct took hold, rising from the ground, fueled by a mix of fear and anguish. She grasped a kitchen knife, a weapon of final resort. With trembling hands, she hurled the blade through the air, its trajectory slicing through the space that separated them, a faithful strike that found its mark in Obumseli's chest. After her hours-long interview ended, Courtney retreated to continue living her lavish life, spending millions of dollars on new houses, parties, and even going on a retreat in Hawaii. But Christian's family wasn't satisfied with Courtney's self-defense claims, swiftly hiring a lawyer to pursue her as a malicious killer. It was within this legal team that they would convince police that Courtney was not acting in self-defense. Courtney was cuffed by the police in Hawaii on her luxurious vacation, and Christian would finally gain the possibility of justice. The trial would consist of overwhelming physical evidence of Courtney's aggression towards Christian, found through letters and text messages written by Christian. The most damning piece of evidence was from the medical examiner's report, which definitely found that it was impossible for Christian to have died from a thrown knife. The truth was out. Courtney had lied, and she had plunged the knife through Christian's chest using her own hands. The manner of death was officially ruled as homicide. As the tendrils of fate tightened their grip, the story of Courtney Cline reached its haunting climax, leaving her trapped within the suffocating confines of a prison cell. With the weight of her actions pressing upon her shoulders, she awaits the imminent arrival of her trial, a pivotal moment that will determine the course of her future. Locked away from the world she once knew, Cline finds herself in a suspended state, caught between the echoes of her past and the uncertainty of what lies ahead, each passing day carrying with it the weight of what she had done. The trial, a momentous event slated for the year 2023, looms on the horizon, a pivotal juncture that holds the power to seal her destiny. Until then, she exists in the limbo of uncertainty, her every waking moment a reminder of the cost of her actions and the reckoning that awaits in a courtroom of justice. What verdict do you think will be read in the end of Courtney's case? Do you think that she acted in self-defense? Let us know what you think in the comments below. As always, if you want to see more videos just like this, make sure to like, subscribe,